1 and a 2 and
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. Is the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its birth. The thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night divine.
Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and in today's lesson, we have an absolute classic for you, Oh Holy Night. I'm going pretty much off of the Bing Crosby version, but this is a traditional song. It's a Christmas classic. If you need help following along with this lesson, I have it on my website. All the chords, lyrics, the timing, the strumming pattern, all of it, it's all there in one place to help you practice this one, because there are quite a few switches in this one. You know, it's not the easiest tune. As you already saw, we're going to do it not only in the simplest way possible, just doing like a really simple pattern that captures the feeling of the tune. We're also going to learn how to do it in like a finger picking way and also a flat picking way. So stick around for all that. Really quick, if you haven't grabbed your copy of my free ebook, I'll put a link to that in the corner. And let's just jump right in. This tune has quite a few sections, and a few of them are just C, F, and G. And then there's some minor chord stuff. So let's kind of break it down. I'm going to write out the chord changes right here. We start off on a C chord. So we're going from C into F. From our C chord, we're going to move our middle finger over to the G string. It's still on the 2nd fret. Then we're going to put our pinky just underneath our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. My thumb can lightly touch the thickest string, and that is a pretty good sounding F. Sounds really similar to the bar chord. It's nice and rich. And you can just practice going back and forth between those two silently. Or if you're familiar with my the method that we use in my ebook or my course, Learning Guitar Once and For All, the chord switching game, that's, you know, the best way to learn any chords. Anyways, we're switching between C and F for that first line. And then it's back to our C chord, and then we go to G. And you can play G whatever way is comfortable, but I recommend what I call the cowboy voicing for G. That's where we take our middle and ring finger and we just move them up to the thicker strings, put our pinky on the thinnest string. That's a super efficient switch, especially in a song like this where you're going back and forth between C and G a lot. I love that switch. Now from here, we're going to go into an E minor chord. I'm going to leave my middle finger down. I'm on a C chord, I'm leaving my middle finger down, going into E minor, just pivoting off my middle finger. And then we're going to switch into B7. And there's no trick there. You know, we have to move all our fingers at once. But I recommend, once again, silently switching a whole bunch between E minor and B7, doing the chord switching game, you know, 1, switch, 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 1, switch, 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 till it feels good, you know. And then from there, we're going to go into just some G and C. You can see it all right there. At this point, I recommend visiting my website. I have it all there for you, the chords and lyrics. It all lines up. You'll notice that the chords line up with the words. So you can strum each chord one time, just going, oh, holy night. You know, the C chord happens on O and then on night. The stars are brightly shining. You know, and you try to, obviously I'm like pausing and doing all this weird stuff because I'm demonstrating it to you, but you want it to sound more like, oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. And maybe your voice sounds better than mine and it's beautiful and all that, but you know, you just do that through that section that we just learned, just to really master those chords. Then we can add our strumming pattern. It's a 6/8 strumming pattern. That's the time signature for this song. And even more important than the pattern is how we count it. We go 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. So I recommend just muting the strings and counting out loud. We play a bigger stroke on the numbers, and then on the and a, we just do some little strokes. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and that's the feeling of the song. And I know it's all downstrokes, and you know, you might be wondering like, how could it sound good if it's so simple? But it does capture the feeling of the song, and sometimes the simplest things are best. You know, once you add those chords, oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. And once you get to like the later parts of the song, since our pattern's so simple, we can focus on how much emphasis we're putting into it, or how much power, you know. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voice. You can build up. Pull back a little, you know, you can do all that stuff, and that's what's going to make you sound great. That's what's going to capture like the power of a song like this, you know, compared to like, oh, I'm playing this complex pattern of down and up strokes or whatever like that. You know, do this first, and then that other stuff comes easily. Anyways, that's it for this first section. The next part, we have a few more chord shapes. There's an A minor, on your knees, going to E minor. And for that, I have my A minor chord the regular way, and I'm going to lift my index, move my middle and ring finger up over to the E minor shape. And then we have D minor, and I'm going to focus on my middle finger, getting it down on the 2nd fret of the G string first, and then I can finish my D minor shape. And from D minor down to A minor, our index and middle can just move up once, because that's pretty much the same shape. And then we just add our ring finger to finish our A minor shape. So you can try those 3 chords in a row, just going A minor, E minor, D minor, A minor, just one strum each, just to get used to the switching. And then it's more C, F, and G, similar to what we do in the beginning. C to G, C to F, great chord switching exercise. C, G, C, C. You can see it all written here. So I once again recommend on my website just saying the words and doing 1 strum per chord. Fall on your knees per chord symbol. Oh, hear the angel voices. You know, just doing it that way. And then we can add our strumming pattern to it. And that's that. At this point, if you want to play it in the simplest way possible, just visit my website, follow along with the chords and lyrics. Like I said, you know, doing the 1 strum thing first, and then adding that full-on pattern 1 time per chord shape, just going 1 and a 2 and a per chord symbol. And then once you're good at that, you can upgrade this tune. We can learn a finger picking pattern. On the C chord, I'm going to put my thumb on the A string and then index middle ring on the next few strings. And in 6/8 songs, there's this beautiful pattern that works like every time, like Unchained Melody, Everybody Hurts, a bunch of awesome tunes. It goes, Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis. If you've learned any of those, you already have a leg up on this. So we just go 1 and 2 and so I start on my thumb and I just ascend through my fingers, thumb, index, middle, and then I descend, ring, middle, index, 1 and 2 and you can even open this song just doing this a whole bunch till you're ready to start singing, you know. Do it like 4 times. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. Is the night. And when I switch to certain chords, I gotta change a couple things. So on the C chord, I start on the A string. It's just the middle 4 strings. For G, I'm gonna leave my fingers where they are, but I'm gonna move my thumb to the thickest string. So it's hitting the thickest string, and otherwise it's identical. So you can just go C 1 time, and then G 1 time, and then C, just 1 time each, just to get used to that whole switching your thumb to a different string thing. And then for F, it's the same as C, so nothing changes with the picking. For E minor, it's the same as G. If you go and get my free ebook, link in the corner for that, there's a page that shows you, I'll just show it right here, it shows you the roots for each chord. That's the string that your thumb is going to play per chord shape. So for E minor, the root's on the E string, but your fingers stay in the same place. For B7, the root's there on the A string. That's all you really got to pay attention to, is where the root is. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting those 3 strings with your fingers the whole time. The one exception, we do our A minor, then E minor, and then for D minor, we actually have to move the whole thing over. So our thumb goes on the D string, and our fingers on the top 3 strings. Otherwise, that's the only exception. Otherwise, it's all just as I've laid out. And once again, this is all on that page. So everything is going to be, it's going to say this is the pattern for these ones. You'll see it above, right? Like I'm using tab. The thickest string is on the bottom, because that's what it's like when you look down at your guitar. And, you can see T for thumb, I for index, and so on. Anyways, that's how you fingerpick the tune, which is like one step up from strumming it, in my opinion. Next, we have flat picking, and that's a little trickier. It's going to require some picking accuracy. It's the same pattern as the finger picking, though. You start on the A string, you pick through ascending and then descending. So in terms of the strings, the A string, the D string, and the G string, and then B, G, D. And you can anchor your pinky just touching it to the the front of the guitar. That's a really good strategy to kind of keep your place, so you can look away and still hit the right strings. And the exact same rules apply. So I would figure out how to finger pick it first, and then you can flat pick it, or just follow the same instructions. It's the same patterns. That is it for this tune. If you enjoy learning guitar with me, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to grab your copy of my free ebook. If you want to, fast track your guitar journey and just have exactly what you need in order to get better, the right lessons in the right order, and just follow a method, I have one, Learn Guitar Once and For All. I'll put a link down below if you want more information on that. And during the Christmas season, I have all sorts of specials. So, if it's that time of year, you might stumble across one. Anyways, have a fun time practicing. Don't forget to check out this page on my site and practice along. I'd love to hear you play this tune. Merry Christmas.
Holy night, the stars are bright.